Okay, we're back, and in this tutorial we're still exploring some of the features of OpenOffice Impress. I will cover how to add slides, duplicate slides, manipulate some of your slides and its backgrounds, and then how to import a whole slideshow from another presentation into a new presentation. Then finally, using one of the nice features in OpenOffice Writer, which is outputting a text outline directly into a presentation, which is a nice feature if you're doing a book report or another long presentation that involves an outline. So I have my previous short presentation open that we worked on in the last tutorial, one slide. So how can I just basically create new slides? I've got a button up here that says slide, and by just punching that, another slide drops down. It looks just like the previous one. Under insert, I also have a duplicate slide. So if this was a different slide, I'm just going to change some of the text here. And I wanted that specific slide to be duplicated. I'm just going to say insert duplicate slide. And now I have a duplicate of slide number 2, different from slide number 1. So if I wanted to add another new slide underneath that, I could use my slide button, and now I have another new slide, unlike slides 2 and 3. How can I change all the backgrounds on these if I'm not happy with the background? I have another button. It's called Slide Design, and it opens up a slide design window. It shows all the slide designs that I've used. Right now I have slide number 4 selected, and I'm going to hit the load button. And here are the categories we've used before. Templates, if I had any templates loaded, preloaded presentation backgrounds, and presentations. I'm going to stay with the presentation backgrounds, and if I have my preview button on, I can take a look at what some of these will look like. Make sure that you have this More button selected, otherwise it will look like this and you won't be able to see the preview. By clicking on the template of my choice, I now have a view of what that slide would look like. I'm just going to hit OK. It'll drop it into my slide design field, and then I'm going to hit OK there. And now slide 4 is now the background that I selected. What's an easy way to cascade all that across the other slides? Well, over here on my right hand side under Tasks, I have a Master Pages tab, and by opening that up, there are a number of different preset backgrounds that I can use. They say available to use. I can simply click on those, double click, and it will cascade those across all the slides in my presentation. That one particularly doesn't look that great, but if I choose one of these other ones, I get an idea of what that looks like. So now all of my slides match, and we can move on to creating other slides. So how can I add a number of slides from another presentation? Well, underneath Insert, there is a File choice, and when I click on File, it opens up a dialog box where I can navigate to a previously saved presentation. In this case, I'm going to choose a Microsoft Office PowerPoint. I'm going to say Open. It's going to ask me to insert the slides and objects, and I'm going to say OK. This procedure takes a couple of seconds for it to read the slides, depending on how big the presentation is and how many slides are in it. It'll add it to it. It'll ask, do I want to format the new pages and you want to adapt the objects to? I'm going to say yes to that. Essentially, this is importing it into an OpenOffice Impress format. You want to keep an eye on how your slides are reformatted from PowerPoint to any other presentation. We've done that in iWorks Keynote also. We've run into a few little problems where there is a PowerPoint presentation that was imported into Keynote and some of the formatting was a little messed up. That might be the case here too. So it's always a good rule of thumb to go through your slides and just make sure that the columns fit and the format is to your liking. So now I have a number of imported slides. Once I have a number of slides, just like PowerPoint, I might want to take a look at a different view mechanism instead of normal so that I can see all my slides at once. So there's a slide sorter choice. And now here's all of my imported slides. So here's a slide that is a good example, a couple of them a good example of my suggestion of taking a look at the slide before presentation time. Slide number 10 that was imported. I'm just going to double click on that. A lot of that text will now need to be reformatted, at least the text box, so that it fits on this slide. But it did import the slide and kept the colors and images that were in the previous PowerPoint. So let's practice importing a text outline from Writer. I have a Writer document going, and in that I just put some real basic ideas that might go into an English book report presentation. Again, this is in the word processing feature. Underneath File, I can send this as a presentation. Under Send, I have a choice that says Outline to Presentation, and by choosing that, it'll open it up in Impress. Now I have a brand new OpenOffice Impress presentation, and there is my outline in slide format. If I scroll down my slide sorter on the left-hand side, I now have 16 new slides. And let's take a look at what that will look like in a normal presentation view. Okay, so now I have a number of slides. Of course, it's pretty plain Jane, white. It came right out of a text document. So I'm going to go back over to my master pages, and underneath either the recently used or available for use, I'm going to choose a master slide layout that might make this a little dressier. Okay, so now I have a real basic presentation ready to go, ready to be added to right out of a text outline from Writer.